Hello, dear friends. A denouement is an ending in which a problem is solved. Opinion piece. Outcome. Surprise attack. Spiritual hygiene. Failed materialism. Unraveling the Lurker. A financial revolution begins. Negative networks disappears. Important week for the economy. Attack on Trump as he was about to announce his platform. Let's start. The unraveling process to eliminate the Lurker is advancing with full force, according to Cobra. In a surprise attack on September 7th, the forces of light completely eliminated the negative network of Agatha and the Tibetan dark network, and only the core of the main underground base in northern Tibet remained standing. That base will disappear in a month or less. Immediately after that attack, the Hippocrates panicked because they realized that they didn't have the negative spiritual support they had until now for many centuries. Since then, they have triggered a chain of negative events worldwide that will lead to their downfall against all their expectations. The wicked want to keep humankind in an eternal physical materialistic time loop without any access to higher dimensions, because that guarantees the maximum entropy of the matrix. Due to the Larker's unraveling process, their materialistic project will fail. What remains now is the main dark web on the surface of the planet, consisting of globally interconnected layers. The Larker subquantumally entangles with all those factions and guides them with passes and impulses. Escalation. The negative faction is the most worrying of them, as it tries to manifest the Third World Party. The globalists tried to turn the war in Ukraine into a global catastrophe before the elections. There was enough awareness among the population to prevent escalation attempts during the period of September 1 to 9, but immediately after that, their effort was intensified. The light forces are able to diffuse 99% of such escalations, but the remaining 1% they need the support of light missioners from the surface. The top brass of the negative factions have access to advanced technology from other planets. The transit of Pluto in Aquarius, starting on November 19th, will force such technologies to come to light. Some of the top generals were once Syrian commanders. During missions in the Galactic Wars, they were captured and implanted by dark forces, brainwashed, and put into a cycle of reincarnation. The Sirius star system is beginning its activation, which will peak in 2025 and is sending out strong energy in the hope that they will be able to cross over to the light side. In 1996, a small group of dark beings from another universe infiltrated the negative core, bringing with them a smaller number of black stones. These stones are now located in 30 military bases around the world. They are similar to the large black rock that was cleared in 2017, but are much less powerful. The light forces will dissolve them with Molnir technology, but that will take some time. Mercenary groups are the intersection between the military complex and the negative financial complex. We tend to think of war as one national army against another national army, but they have changed. But wars have changed drastically since Iraq. Mercenaries are more powerful than most realize, which is a serious oversight. Those who assume they are cheap imitations of national armed forces have no idea what is going on. Warriors for profit are a completely different species of fighter. BlackRock is at the core of the financial complex and controls the world. Globalists possess extreme wealth, usually in the billions, and can live anywhere in the world they choose. They have diversified international business interests, often shared with other globalists and frequently receive invitations to events like Davos. Black nobility families, especially the Orsinis, in cooperation with the negative side, are running the dark biolabs, wishing for another crisis. The ultimate goal for the black nobility families is the collapse of Western civilization, because they see themselves at the top of the new feudalism food chain. Progress. Positive forces are fighting this and are putting the meme of arresting the bad guys into the mainstream. Donald Trump has warned that Mark Zuckerberg or anyone else who illegally interferes in elections would be jailed for life if he wins the presidency. Setting de escalation agreements between the light and the dark are collapsing. The dark forces and certain members of the dark side may not be safe. After the process of unraveling the lurker reaches a certain higher state, the source and the forces of light will begin to unravel the dark webs of the lurker, and also to unravel the interference field between humankind and the dark forces. Enormous changes are taking place in the galaxy, preparing for change. Galactic angels began to inhabit interstellar space again for the first time since 1996. They retreated into a dormant state in the form of spores on the higher mental plane, and are now re-emerging again, growing and expanding the wings of their mental, astral, and etheric bodies throughout the galaxy and vivifying the glorious, luminous interstellar plasma that extends from the local interstellar cloud through the Sirius star system into the heliopause. They will bring much light to this solar system in the coming months and years. Our sun is also becoming much more active, and it is very obvious that our current solar maximum will be very strong now. Mainstream physics is starting to understand wormholes finally, and they're also starting to understand tachyons. Reset news. Charlie Watt says the battle will soon begin. Be prepared. Anything that is not in resonance with the supreme will is going to be squeezed off of you, and it hurts, says Poet Dog. Gay Settler says Gisara's announcement of September 11th, 2024 was aborted by elite sabotage and operations are now in full swing. The battle came to a head on Sunday, September 15th, when a second assassination attempt on Donald Trump took place. It happened just before Trump was about to announce on Monday afternoon, September 16th, a system called Wild Liberty Financial, a bankless revolution for financial freedom and empowerment that would return power to the people who would transfer money to the people from central banks. Attack. Trump suffers a new assassination attempt at the hands of an individual armed with an AK-47 Kalashnikov. On Sunday, September 15th, 2024, another assassination attempt against Donald Trump took place just before the election. Shots were fired at the Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach, Florida, while Trump was playing golf. And AK-47 was found hidden in the bushes, and the suspect fled, but was later arrested. These attempts are becoming frequent, and it is time to start identifying the key figures behind these orders. The suspect of trying to assassinate Trump was lying in wait for 12 hours in Florida. Trump thanks the Secret Service and the police for their incredible work after the attack. Trump says his determination is even stronger after another attack. Trump accuses Biden and Harris of using rhetoric that motivates to be shot. An affidavit from ABC whistleblower was released on Sunday, alleging that Kamala Harris colluded with the network to manipulate the presidential debate against Trump. The whistleblower also agreed to testify before Congress. Anyone who thinks what will happen in November is just another election is wrong. Ramaswamy argues that the real adversary is not a singular candidate, but rather an interconnected and omnipresent system. In his view, the real division is between the managerial class and ordinary citizens. Rumors. According to Judy Binton, RB began on Friday, September 13th, when banks received financial transactions and were given up to 72 hours to finalize them, or risks a fine of $20 billion per institution. Goldilocks says on Telegram, next week begins the largest devaluation in the history of the dollar. It will not happen in a single week, but next week's is when monetary policies change. Mel Gibson has released a video showing that most Hollywood characters do horrible things. Letter from JFK Jr. on Telegram. Much of what Trump says in his speeches has to do with the activation of GISARA, the Jubilee of debt due to illegal banking activities, the ban on the sale of birth certificates, and the property bonds, and the return to common law. Something very special is happening. We are in the calm before the storm. We have never been so close to the edge. Something huge is brewing. The world is on the verge of something monumental. Stay alert. When this gets doing, it could change everything. The potential is astounding. Every phone on the planet will receive emergency alerts anytime, anywhere. General Flynn believes a cyber attack is coming, but the Patriots have countermeasures and are prepared for such an attack. Marines confirm animal mutilations in Springfield, Ohio. Marines deployed to Ohio to protect pets, according to Michael Baxter. According to Llewellyn Rockwell, we need freedom. In a free society, people have the right to decide what to do with their own body. If you want to take something they say you shouldn't, that decision should be yours and only yours. Rumors of war. Putin says NATO will be at war with Russia if it authorizes Ukraine to use long-range missiles. Medvedev warned last week that the nuclear response is an extremely difficult decision with irreversible consequences, and added that patience is coming to an end. Also, Russian Ambassador Anatoly Antonov said on Friday that citizens cannot hide from war if they allow Ukraine to attack Russia with long-range Western weapons. This was motivated by the fact that most of the mobilized Ukrainian troops are abandoning their positions, refusing to go into battle or trying to find a way to defect. Russian commander Sergei Lipovoy said, "We are ready to strike if Western weapons hit targets inside Russia." Elon Musk warns, "I have a bad feeling about this," after Putin issues declaration of war according to Sochafal. Sochafal says Russian fire god space weapon forces powers to give in. Emergency World Summit called for another nuclear Armageddon almost happened last week, according to Benjamin Fulford. The mafia is trying to start an all-out war and almost succeeded last weekend. This brush with nuclear war has led to an unofficial call between intelligence agencies to organize a summit that will bring together Western military intelligence experts with the BRICS coalition. Together, they will negotiate a replacement for the rules-based world order. Formal announcements on this are likely to be made in the near future. Economy. Gold continues to rise and hit record after record. This is a big week for all central banks, with a number of rate moves on the table. European markets close lower in a good week for central banks. The Fed is approaching a critical week for markets. There has never been more uncertainty about the central bank's intentions, analysts say. The S&P 500 is approaching a record and the Dow Jones hits an all-time high ahead of the Fed meeting. Apple shares are plummeting and could be under pressure for months, according to charts. Nasdaq slides as Apple slips. Fed rate cut looms. Investors are bracing for a pivotal week dominated by the first interest rate cut. JP Morgan wants not to expect too much from stocks in the next decade. China's economy is going through a slow, painful, grinding adjustment, analyst says. India can achieve sustainable growth of up to 8% in coming years. Trump announced no tax on overtime, inching toward eliminating taxes and the central bank. X22 report. Manipulated economic figures are coming to light. People see that the economy is falling apart while the administration tells people that everything is fine. The economic revolution has begun. Trump says we will build new cities. Europe. The EU wants to ban smoking and vaping in outdoor spaces. Over 75% of French people support reinstatement of border controls. Sweden to pay migrants up to $34,000 to return. Germany introduces passport control to crack down on illegal immigration. Volkswagen is considering laying off thousands of employees. The UK has signed a treaty with the Davos Forum to close airports and ban beef and lamb. Portugal asks for European help to combat the fires that are ravaging the country. Spain and the UK will resume negotiations on Gibraltar. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas visits Spain this week after its recognition as a state. Palestine sits as a state for the first time at the UN General Assembly. Spain demands information from Venezuela about the two Spaniards arrested and the charges brought against them. The European Commission considers the arrest of two Spaniards and a Czech in Venezuela regrettable. Americas. Nearly 400,000 documents from the Dirty War in Mexico have been declassified. Mexico celebrates 214 years of its independence with a military parade. The anniversary of independence is celebrated in El Salvador with a military parade also. Bukele announces that he will present the first fully funded national budget. Argentina aims to reduce its inflation to 18.3% in 2025 from the current 104%. Colombian startup Rappi could be ready to go public in 12 months. Ecuador's government announces a national blackout for network maintenance. Brazil's GDP will grow by almost 3% in 2024. Brazil Supreme Court adopts new measures to combat fires. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.